Fox News alert, ICE under attack again. At the crack of dawn, a sniper fired multiple rounds at an ICE facility in Dallas. Rounds hit an ICE van. 2 illegals were hit. 1 is dead. The sniper is Joshua John. He's 29. Here's a picture from 2015. He opened fire from a nearby building. It was a miracle an ICE agent wasn't killed.
You know, I know so many of those officers and agents down there. That's where I started my career. The windows that they show is my old office. So whoever was sitting in my old chair had to, duck under the desk.
The shooter committed suicide after the attack. The FBI says there was an ideological motive to the rampage. He scrawled messages on his bullets.
Early evidence that we've seen from rounds that were found near the suspected shooter contain messages that are anti-ICE in nature.
The sniper had anti-ICE carved into the shell casings, but the media says no one knows the motive.
Yeah, so I had to start off the video with that tidbit before we get into Greg Gutfield absolutely destroying Jessica Tarlov. This is, I mean, this is straight. I'm just gonna play the clip because he my goodness, he went crazy on Jessica, man. I don't know how she stays much longer on Fox. I mean, because this is like the second time within like the past week, right? Yeah, no, yeah, it was just like last week where Greg, I mean, he went in on her last week as well, and now it's happening again. But anyway, with that being said, let's dive in.
Nazis, you've never done that, but there are people in your party that have done that. Do you think that's responsible?
Listen, I think that fascism and fascists is a very special category of people, and you should use it when it's really applicable and sparingly, because then people will believe you when you say it. And it has become too common to hear words like that, and that is a both sides problem. And last week we went through the litany of times that Donald Trump has used that rhetoric, and the fact that he came out after Charlie Kirk's tragic assassination and said the radical left did this, and then we heard a chorus of "we are at war." And that does permeate the entirety of American society, that they hear that from the top. We don't know
garbage.
that much.
That is absolute garbage.
It is
Continue. When something terrible happens,
Greg,
when somebody gets murdered, you're saying, how dare you be enraged by it? Continue.
No,
I'm done.
what I say is, how dare
there is no, I'll give you the both. No, Jessica, I'll give you the both sides.
Greg,
I agree with you. There is both sides. On one hand, you have the hard left, and on the other hand, you have the left.
Why are you
They're the both sides of the same coin. Because you walk into this room and you're not reading it. There is no both sides. You don't have the evidence for that.
That's not true.
You can't say that Donald Trump says this. You guys act on it. You guys act on it. We don't. What do you want?
What do I want? I would like to talk about the specifics of who Vance Bolter actually was, since we fought about that last time. Because you make it out as if this was just that he knew Melissa Hortman.
Let's focus on this thing now. I'll destroy you on that later. But focus on this now.
Fine,
You want to go back?
Focus on this now. This looks like a kid that was inflamed either by the leftist cabal, or maybe he used his own eyes. And maybe he saw what's going on. Maybe there are people in his community who are being picked up by people from ICE. Maybe he saw raids at Home Depot. Or maybe he did hear J.B. Pritzker. He seems like a Morning Joe viewer to me, right? Someone who had tuned in, saw Hillary Clinton, and then went out and grabbed his gun. The common denominator in all of this is that we have young men, usually young white men, who have access to these guns and are carrying out these tragedies. They are nihilists. They live online. And again, do you think it's normal that people are writing on casings anti-ICE? They think that it's a joke. You look at Tyler Robinson's text messages with his roommate and partner. It reads like a joke. They just wanted us on Fox News to have to be able to read that stuff out loud. He even said it in the messages. So I get it. You're amped up. I don't think that I said anything worthy of that level of explosion.
Your rationalization of both sides You have to understand, since Kurt's death, there is no both sides anymore, Jessica.
Why did the DOJ take down the study that showed how much right-wing extremism?
What study was that? Which one? The one in The Economist that was sponsored by a group run by a guy in Antifa? That study that has been discredited by the Federalists? You're walking down a really bad alley right now.
Federalists?
Yes. I actually did see, Jessica, I did the deep dive on that study. That study was authored by a project that was run by a guy who says he was an Antifa. That is why that whole thing has been scrubbed, okay? It's real simple.
Bingo.
You label someone a fascist or a racist or a Nazi, it makes you free to attack them, and that has been the ideology from the start. It's weird.
So why?
No. Let me talk.
Trump does it.
What?
Just tell me why it's okay.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Great. I'm enjoying this.
Okay. You won't be for long. The left calls Trump a hate monger. They have called me a hate monger because I ridicule the left. I ridicule protesters. I ridicule academia, Hollywood, the news media. I make fun of The View every day. I make fun of the UN. Guess what? No one acts on the things that I say because my side doesn't do that. We say people are stupid. We say people are wrong, but we don't say they're evil. That is your game, okay? And then you come and you say, okay, man, this is a mentally ill loner. Well, who do you think does this stuff? It's not Ben Affleck. It's not Tom Brady. It's not even Carrot Top. People who do this stuff are always that way. The question is, who points them in that direction? Why pick ICE? Why pick Kirk? Why target TV stations that put bombs under Fox trucks? Huh? Why vandalize memorials? Why kill kids in Catholic schools? Two things can be true. A person could be mentally ill, and you can be guiding him to that place in his life. That is how brainwashing works.
Facts.
There is a litany of examples that
you will not have them. If I gave you 2 months to look for them, you couldn't find them because they've been debunked.
Really?
You have one thing.
The
If you want to talk about,
if you want to talk a minute, Salas's son has been debunked. Dylan Roof has been debunked. Vance Bolter and his list of dozens
we can talk
of
about that, but
go ahead and talk about it.
Okay, you want to talk about it?
I do.
Okay, there was not a relentless drumbeat for 10 years about his victim like there was here. There was an intent and a motive for her killing by her killer alone. It wasn't Five. It wasn't National Review. It wasn't any show going like, you know what? We need to go after this fascist. Hopefully someone will take her out. That never happened.
Guys,
that is why your analogy is so pointless and desperate.
Pipe bombs being sent to Democrats' houses. People saying in court, I was inspired by Donald Trump.
If you want to do this math, you're going to be embarrassed.
Brown people. According to you, I'm embarrassed every day. So frankly, I'm just feeling normal. Thank you.
We should do this every week.
Yes.
I honestly, it's first day of the week with Greg. Seems to go badly for me. So.
Well, you don't come in here with both sides.
It's not.
It's like going into a funeral and saying, "Hey, let's have a kegger."
Well, sometimes you should just celebrate the life.
Dana, is it always like this?
You should see when I get going.
All right. Up next.
Nah, he was cooking. Greg Gutfield was absolutely cooking. This both sides nonsense is absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Right? You don't see the type of ridicule. Matter of fact, I have, I don't think I saved it, but I was looking at it the other day. Where there was a video clip that was perfectly describing what Democrats are currently doing to us folks on the right. And they're dehumanizing us by labeling us all of these different types of names. Where was that video clip? What should I type in? Let me see if I can find this, guys, because it is massively important to show this. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it, but it's being done on purpose. It's 1000% being done on purpose. And the playbook. Oh, here we go. Wait, was this it? This might be it.
In 1943, the following directive was issued from party headquarters to all communists in the United States. It read, "When certain obstructionists become too irritating, label them after suitable buildups as fascist or Nazi or anti-Semitic, and use the prestige of anti-fascist and tolerance organizations to discredit them. In the public mind, constantly associate those who oppose us with those names which already have a bad smell. The association will, after enough repetition, become fact in the public mind. In 19...
No, that wasn't the full clip, but you got a taste of it there, right? You got a little taste of it there, but there was another. Maybe that was the clip, but it was a longer bit of it. Anyway, that's being done on purpose. You label us Nazis and fascists and the Gestapo and blah blah blah. So now, when anybody does anything crazy like that shooter did on that roof, shooting at ICE, or what he thought was. I'm assuming he thought it was a vehicle full of ICE agents because it wasn't marked. In reality, there was like 1 or 2 ICE agents, and the rest of the van was filled with illegals. As far as I understand about this entire situation, I could be wrong there, so don't hold me to that. But so when you have people that do that kind of stuff, it's no longer simply pushing back. It's, hey, I need to save this country from these Nazis, from these fascists, right? When in reality, it's actually the Democrats that are closer because, I mean, what did Hitler do to people that he didn't like? I think we all know the answer to that. What did the left just do to a guy that they didn't like, Charlie Kirk? What did they attempt to do to a guy that they didn't like in Uncle Trump? Not only did they try to throw this man under the jail, right, for 700 years, but they tried to take his life. They tried to say, what prominent Democrat figure has a right-winger gone after? None. Not a single one. Not a single one. Yes, there was one Democrat, I believe, was that out of Tennessee? Was that in Tennessee? The lady who, like, literally the day before she voted against a Democrat bill that would have done, it was something for illegals, and then like the next day she died by, somebody broke into her house and bang bang, I can't remember exactly where that was from. Y'all let me know in the comments. I'm sure you guys remember who I'm talking about. And even in that situation, like Greg Gutfield said there, it wasn't like a situation where a bunch of us folks on the right were like, man, let's go after this person. She's the Gestapo. She's a Nazi. She's blah, like that. That was one lone guy. One lone guy. There wasn't a bunch of rhetoric. And once again, he was wrong. I don't agree with that, right? But that was one lone guy that did something crazy, disgusting, terrible. But now you're getting copycats here. Guy took out Charlie Kirk. A guy shot at Uncle Trump. Not once, but twice. Guys shooting at ICE agents. Before this, they were throwing rocks through the windshield of ICE agents' vehicles. What's next? What's next? It's just absolutely crazy, man. But then they want to play this, oh, well, it's both sides. It's both sides. No, it's not both sides. No, it's not. Not by a long shot. But anyway, y'all get in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions about all of this. Y'all stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.